The umbilical cord, if you're looking at this umbilical cord, the umbilical cord is actually going to be made up of the umbilical vein and two umbilical arteries. Right? So the umbilical vein is going to be the larger central vessel that you're seeing here, while the two umbilical arteries are the smaller vessels that are wrapped around the vein. Right? So just be aware and be able to differentiate those two. Right? The larger is the vein. The two smaller that are wrapped around are the arteries. Right? Now, as the blood is coming into the fetus, right? You see that the vein is red. Right? So that vein is going to bypass the liver at the ductus venosus, right? And then the blood is going to go into the vena cava and enter the heart. Right? Now, as it goes into the heart, in the fetus, we know that the lungs are not functioning like our lungs are, right? They're in the womb, right? So they bypass the pulmonary circuit, not completely, but almost completely, right? Which means that instead of sending a lot of blood to the lungs, they're going to divert that somehow to the left side of the heart or to the systemic circuit. Right? And the two things I want you to consider as far as diverting: when the blood enters the right atrium, from the right atrium to the left atrium, you're going to find a foramen there. Right, the foramen ovale. This is a foramen that is found in the interatrial septum. Right, so think about that. What does the interatrial septum normally do? Separates the two atria, right? But now if you have that foramen ovale there, right, that hole, blood can go from the right atrium directly into the left atrium. And if that happens, are you going to send that blood to the lungs? No, right? So that's the first bypass, the foramen ovale, and you can see the little arrow going from right atrium to left atrium. That's what it signifies. Right? For blood that does make its way down into the right ventricle, when that ventricle contracts and the blood gets pushed into the pulmonary trunk, we're going to see that at the superior aspect of that pulmonary trunk, there is a small vessel that connects the pulmonary trunk to the aortic arch. Right? That small vessel is the ductus arteriosus. Right, so now again, instead of sending blood to the lungs, the blood is going from the pulmonary trunk to the aorta, which means it's going straight to the systemic circuit. Right? Ductus arteriosus. Right? Ductus arteriosus, and they're all named at the top here, right? If you want to get it. So that's the other bypass. From there, the blood goes out to the systems. At the systems, from the iliac arteries, the internal iliac arteries, you end up giving rise to the umbilical arteries, and these umbilical arteries then return that blood to the mother, right? To the placenta, right? And there you have an exchange with the mother's blood. Right? So please be aware of those things, especially differentiating between umbilical veins and umbilical arteries. Any questions? All right.